That comic podcast.
Hello. Welcome to That Comic Podcast. I'm your host, Metty, and with me, as always, are my wonderful sidekicks. First, Mr. Moshko.
Can I kick it?
Yep.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep. And that was P Features.
Hello, Internet.
And Lance in a box. Man, I got to get... It throws me off every time. Cyclops still sucks, yes.
Hey, man.
Hey,
Jesus.
He went so far to make a video about it.
I know.
There's proof. There's so much proof.
And honestly, we got Baby Huey in the producer chair, but something tells me he's not playing producer. He's just gonna.
I'm here, but yeah, what's going on?
He's gonna yap. But I think the most exciting thing for today's show is a face that actually most times no one's ever seen. Actually, this is new for all of us. But hi.
Hi, Balin Skull.
That over there, that face that you may have never seen because you've not used to seeing our face, but you've heard his voice if you followed along the journey that is That Comic Podcast, /fireside/ I don't know how long I've known this man, but Mr. Rye Patterson is joining the show for the first time in a long time.
Hey, guys.
What's
You
up, buddy?
almost used the former alias, didn't you?
I did.
You can use the former alien. No, I've been on the show as Felix Hergood before. I mean, when your show had an entirely, completely different name. So, yeah.
For anybody who's unaware, if you trace our lineage back to when we started podcasting, it's because of that man right there.
Yeah.
That beard right there is the reason this show exists.
It was always in all your souls.
No,
it was in your
those
heart.
props, sir.
No,
Take
it
those
was
props.
not.
Take the props.
I'm the podfather for this.
You are the
this group.
Podfather. That's your new name.
I love it.
That's your new name. The Podfather has returned. That's a good one. That's a real good one.
Love it.
Yeah, no, he asked me to do an episode of his show called The Emerging Gamer, talking about Spider-Man and the Sony deal for the first time, and then that snowballed into me having my own show on their stream.
A full career.
Yep, and that's just from there. Maurer came along. From there, a whole different studio came along, and then a whole different podcast eventually. But all right. With that being said, he is regular, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. You can go take a nap at this point, there, bud. I want to get into some of the biggest Star Wars updates that have happened recently because you guys might not have known, but we did a little YouTube show. Not too long ago, Moshko and I, and we completely forgot to talk about Star Wars. We didn't bring up anything that happened with Star Wars, but some bigger things have happened since then, and there is a slew of leaks about Ahsoka Season 2 that I just find wildly exciting, and I feel like it not only makes me more excited because we've already talked about Abeloth, but it also makes it seems as though this is course correction in the way that we would all want. So... first off, big old spoiler alert. Big old spoiler alert. If you don't care, this is probably not true. Keep that in mind, but if it is, you've been warned. So the first thing, Abeloth, seems like it's going to be an actual thing. For all those unaware, Abeloth is the mother. Abeloth is one of the most wildest characters in all of Legends Star Wars, and it seems as though that was who was calling Balin Skull in the first season. So that is a huge reveal, and it probably leads into the downfall of Luke Skywalker and all the stuff that we've talked about before. So that's a big one. Are we all excited for Abeloth?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Well, right. Legend Star Wars.
Not familiar. Zero.
Not familiar.
Legends.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch Clone Wars, Rye?
Yeah, I did all of Clone Wars. Which
So
is
remember the father, the son, and the sister?
Yep.
They
So there's a
also
mother.
tie back into Legends, and there is the mother who was a servant of theirs who was mortal and was so scared that she was going to age out of being relevant that she went into the pool of knowledge. It corrupted her because she wasn't allowed to, and then boom, Abeloth, the most terrifying villain in all of Star Wars, who can wield the light and the dark side, and was held in a prison by black holes. Wild character. But more than likely, she's going to play a Parallax type role, a.k.a. Green Lantern. And corrupt Luke, and that explains him in the sequel trilogy. So that's the rumor for that. That's the quickest breakdown I could give you on that one.
Course correction.
Yes, a lot of this seems to be. But another big one, and the one very, very excites me probably more than the rest. Would we all argue that the Clone Wars episodes of Ahsoka were the best ones?
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yes.
But Moshko, not so much. That wasn't your. Your favorite part of Ahsoka?
Because it was a cartoon. He didn't watch the cartoon.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's his first experience with Clone Wars. Well, that's you know what? That's a pretty
It
good
wasn't,
first
well,
experience.
it wasn't my first, foray into that. If that even makes sense.
Oh, man.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Good point.
It worked.
But it kind of summed things up to where I didn't have to watch all that other stuff.
Well, hey, you're going to be thrilled because
Yeah.
you're getting even more of that. So,
Oh,
rumor
boy.
is not only we get more of that, but Ewan McGregor's coming back.
Nice.
So, seeing Ewan McGregor in the armor as well as Hayden Christensen reprising their roles in Clone Wars-esque settings is, man, that was such a good episode. I would argue that they should do a whole show just on that. But do we all love that? Mosh.
Yes.
More you and
Do we
I
all
do have
love
a question.
that, Moshko?
When I looked at this list, I'm like, where is all this stuff coming from? Like, so is this from like leakers? Is this
Slew
from
of leakers. If you actually want to see a really nice, because there's some other things I want to talk about this as well. This first made its way to me from another YouTuber, Star Wars Theory, who was watching a buddy of his video, who compiles a lot of leakers as well. But what really drove me to that, and I guess we'll come back to Ahsoka in just a moment. What really drove me there was a bigger issue that he is now trying to get a lot of attention to, which is Andor Season 2, big spoiler alert here, is going in a direction that a lot of longtime Star Wars fans do not want to see because it has to deal with situations of SA, and it's a lot more adult than anybody was expecting Star Wars to go, regardless on whether or not the brand for Andor is a lot more adult. So that leads the question, do you think that franchises can age with their audiences, especially under new leadership? Because we know Lucas never wanted this, but Disney's the new, they rule the roost now. So if they want to make it adult, they can. Is that something that we all like?
I'll chime in first and say that I wouldn't have an issue with it, but it is Star Wars, and it does seem kind of awkward to just invite some like that type of content into it, because the whole time when you go through any one of the Star Wars iterations, whether it's Clone Wars TV shows or even any of the movies, you don't get anything like that. You don't get anything close to.
You don't even get
that.
intimacy.
I mean,
There's not even
dismemberment.
intimacy, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's hugs. You don't even
Hugs.
really get this, and maybe a
Little petting.
handful of kisses.
Well,
Literally,
it's a fantasy. It's
Right,
a fantasy story set in space. I mean, George Lucas has said multiple times it's for 12-year-olds.
right. And if you add things like that into there, you're essentially kind of killing pieces of that audience. Like, you don't want children to see that, especially if we're in that age range. Like, I might be fine with it. And I've seen Andor Season 1. It does seem more like an adult Star Wars show, but it's still Star Wars, and it's still linked to everything else. So
There's
you
a
gotta
lot
be
of
careful with it.
There's a lot of horrific visuals in Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
That's true.
From
I mean, dismemberment.
Oh,
A lot of it.
A
burned
lot of dismemberment, yeah.
skeletons on the ground. I mean,
Yeah.
There goes
George
my
did punch
family.
lunches.
Pushes
that.
the PG-13 as far as it can go sometimes.
Apparently, he had another show called Underworld in the works before the sale. That he had like 50 episodes written or something like that was supposed to get super dark. So much so that if it actually came out, that Disney probably wouldn't have purchased Star Wars from him.
Oh,
So
wow.
he may have been trying to move in this direction anyway, but who knows? All I know is that a lot of people are upset, and I can see the arguments of both sides, because while I do agree that Star Wars is very much for children, and it's so much fun introducing my nieces and nephews to it, and I love seeing Force Awakens with my dad, myself, and my little brothers, so 3 generations are all watching the same franchise. There's just such a great aspect to that. But I would also agree that franchises can age with their audiences, and they can push envelopes, and especially when it's as large as Star Wars, you can move in directions that a lot of people would think is it is definitely risque to a point where I don't know where I sit. I'm on the fence. I don't think part of me thinks that this is a terrible idea. Part of me is like, it's Andor.
And that's why, but that's also why Disney added the filter system to Disney Plus. That's why it's there.
I get that, but it's got
You
like
filter the kids out.
Sure, but it also makes it's still viewing that kids are going to want to go to, and I think that's the question. And as being a longtime Deadpool fan, believe you me, this is not a new conversation because Deadpool historically is a superhero story that everyone talks about that kids aren't allowed to watch. So kids immediately want to watch Deadpool.
I think there's a big difference though between the Marvel, the MCU, and Star Wars. With MCU, yeah, it's one of those situations where seeing everything is going to pay off, and you kind of need to see. I mean, you don't need to, but you need to see everything.
No, I agree.
With all the Star Wars content, not necessarily, especially how they're releasing it now.
So do you think, like, if we had an in theaters rated R Star Wars movie, would it be as successful as any other theatrical Star Wars movie?
I think so.
That's a good question, and I think so as well, and that's why I'm on the fence with this whole story. Like, I don't think that Star Wars needs to go in this direction, and it seems like shock value for shock value's sake. It seems like it doesn't need. You can think of a million other reasons to add to this story, to add, to drive plot, to advance character. There's a lot of ways you can do that. I feel like it's just kind of put in there for the sake of shocking. Of the audience.
Watching the show, though, it might make sense when we actually see it.
Yeah.
Like, it might have a context.
Yeah,
Sure.
context is everything.
Even if it does make sense, this is still Star Wars. But I also think a large part of the issue is just the fans who are so deeply attached to the George Lucas version of Star Wars are having an issue because we know George Lucas said this is a 12 to 15 property. It's a fantasy, and in fantasies we don't really experience adult-like content such as that.
Mm-hmm.
So
They
you
want
can definitely go dark. You don't have to do this.
Right.
There's other things you can do. So
that's where
like you said, I'm on the
so
fence.
It feels
I agree
like-
with you, Rye, but that doesn't feel like it's. I feel like you're saying that just because it makes sense in context, that it makes it okay, where I would argue that it doesn't even need to make sense in context because it's a plot point you don't need to add to Star Wars.
Well, is it implied or is it visually on the screen?
Apparently,
We won't know.
I can tell you the rumor. The rumor is apparently it's a little bit of both. It's and again, big old spoiler alert, but rumor has it that it's a stormtrooper taking off his armor and holding her there. And then it's brought up later that she then tries to get justice for it and brings it up that this guy assaulted me.
She is in Ahsoka? Or
No.
sorry.
Whoever, one of the
no one's
characters from
assaulting
Andor.
Ahsoka.
This is all Andor. We'll get back to Ahsoka
Andor,
in a
right,
second.
right,
Ahsoka's all fun, happy news. Trust me, Ahsoka's...
Well, was it Skeleton Crew or was it Ahsoka where they were the woman at the brothel? Hell, no?
At the brothel?
Yeah, the woman outside helps the kid. That was definitely a brothel.
I guess Andor. Not Andor. I guess
I'm pretty sure it was
Skeleton Crew.
I'm pretty sure it was Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, but it's different than actually saying the word,
Yeah.
and that's apparently what's going to happen. There's a
That'd be
word that we are
implication.
tiptoeing around because now that we're on YouTube, we can't actually say. But there is a very specific word and an act referenced that people are going to not take very well. And I would argue, I think it's a fair argument that it's not necessary, especially with what we're talking about with Ahsoka. Because when you think of the things that we're excited for in Ahsoka, we're like, these are all crazy, great ideas that expand the universe and pull in different characters. Then you look at what's going on in Andor, and it feels more like they're trying to do late night HBO with Star Wars. Instead of, and I guess that begs the question. Is this franchise big enough to expand past that? Or does it need that sense of fantasy that, we all come to expect? Why 3 generations of my family were watching the same movie? It wasn't because of the content of Andor Season 2. It was because of this long-form fairy tale. You get what I'm saying?
I think I get what you're saying, but I think that Star Wars has been so successful because it has stayed in the realm of a fantasy, and it hasn't touched on that. So you can have generations after the generations before all can sit down and watch the show together. Well, the content itself.
I think Menti is coming from the same place he comes from when he's thinking of this as how he feels about Die Hard not being a Christmas movie. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening here.
I will fight to the death that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
I don't.
Well, let's not go off.
I
on
don't
that
want to. I will say this: you threw it out and you brought my name into it. I will say this: I prefer living in a world where Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but no, I don't think it meets the criteria for a Christmas movie. So I will still enjoy it with everybody else. I still like watching it, but in my heart of hearts, I know this is not a Christmas movie. Just like Shazam isn't.
Did you get my analogy? My point?
Oh, it's a great analogy, and I kind of agree what you're saying. I think that goes back to my original question, though, is can these franchises age up past the intended original audience? For example, look at the MCU and Deadpool and Wolverine. That is a huge shift for the MCU. Regardless on it being a third installment of a Deadpool franchise, it is an MCU installment that kids cannot see.
Yeah,
I mean, and it might have huge plot points.
There's a whole lot of 13-year-old humor in there, though. So I don't like.
That's the point.
I know it's rated R and everything, but it did not come off as an adult movie or an adult-oriented movie.
Well, you're kind of adult, sure.
I mean, isn't the new Daredevil show stuff that kids can't really watch either?
And that argument probably comes from, the success of Deadpool and Wolverine. That's probably why they changed Daredevil the way it was, because as we heard Vincent D'Onofrio say, it was originally like a comedy. And we saw elements of that at that bank scene.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's gone.
I think Deadpool and Wolverine showed that there is definitely a want for more adult-oriented content because these franchises mean so much to people more than just an age range, and we are prime examples of that. I mean, here, look at all of us for decades.
Well, anybody 50 and under have been around for the entire run of all of Star Wars. So anyone at the top end of 40, well, let's just say they were 5 when that came out, so whatever, maybe 55. They're 55. I mean, maybe they want some story that's I guess what I'm trying to say is the 55 to 25 range. You're talking almost 30 years. They want something a little more with substance, a little more older in general.
That's the question. Should the
audience is bigger?
Absolutely. But should it evolve or should it stay for its intended audience? For example, I hated the Bay Ninja Turtle movies. I hated a lot of the new Ninja Turtle stuff. But I would prefer them keep making those regardless on whether or not I like them. And I don't think they need to be more adult as much as I loved The Last Ronin. I mean, The Last Ronin should be an adult story, but then that begs the question, we're now making a rated R Ninja Turtles property.
Sweet.
Yes, I get. Yes.
Sweet.
The nerd in me goes, that's amazing. But I understand why people would have a big problem with this.
The 55-year-olds in the room have spoken.
All right, let's get back to Ahsoka.
This is the way.
Let's get back to Ahsoka. Apparently, Boba Fett's got some announcement coming up. I'm excited about that. Tamora Morrison is apparently has some announcement. I'm not sure if it has to do with Ahsoka or if that he's playing Boba Fett or Rex. He's probably playing Rex. Actually, now that I think about it, because Ewan McGregor is coming back, he's playing Rex. Never mind. I thought that was going to be much cooler news until I thought about it.
He already did for a little bit, didn't he?
They never showed him without a mask.
Ghost guy or something, or a mask. Yeah.
You never really showed him without a mask. We saw in Obi-Wan he played a stormtrooper that was begging for change.
Yeah.
But he was supposed to have a big role as Cody. He was supposed to have a different role as Boba Fett, which is supposed to go into other shows. He was supposed to have a bigger role than he really has been, but Boba Fett was seen so poorly that it's kind of hurt.
Bring him back as Rex and keep him as Rex for a while.
Or give me a season 2 where we go back to awesome Boba Fett from the Bounty Hunter War and stuff. Let's go back to awesome Fett and we don't have to worry about any of this.
With less Power Rangers.
All right, here's another one. Another big one. Very excited about this. Guess who else might make a return?
Who's that?
Who
said he wouldn't, and then did. Oh, and then said he wouldn't again.
Frank Drebin.
No.
What?
Liam Neeson.
Naked Gun.
Oh.
Frank Drebin.
I got you.
Went way over my
Thank
head.
you, Brian.
The 55-year-olds in the room got it.
There are a lot of layers.
We got the reference.
For the record, Ryan and I are not 55.
I'm
We're
not
not even
55.
50.
62.
So that's cool, but I would argue, not even argue, but I'm curious is like why Ahsoka and not a second season of Obi?
You know why? Because spoiler alert for the old book that came out. The Legends book, that original scene with him showing up to Obi-Wan takes place at the end of the Ahsoka novel.
Oh,
So I kind of love that he's showing up here since they kind of hijacked that and put it in Obi-Wan. But he's apparently supposed to come back as the Force goes, and more Liam Neeson, more Qui-Gon is never a bad thing.
Nope, always
Qui-Gon is
good.
still one of the best Jedis of all time. All right,
Will
another
it be?
crazy one. Sam Witwer. Do we know who Sam Witwer is?
Love him.
Star Killer.
It's from Transformers.
No, Sam Witwer.
That's Witwicky.
No, Sam Witwer is a Star Wars fan turned voice actor who is just phenomenal. Every time you see him on anything, you're just happy to see him. He voiced Star Killer, but his
Darth Maul?
He was the voice of Darth Maul in Clone Wars. He also voices a crap ton of other characters, but his Darth Maul is the big one.
And he's a big video game voice actor as well.
Yep.
Well, he apparently is going to be playing a live-action version of the Son, who he did the voice for. So that's really cool, getting him actually in live action.
That's cool.
He's so iconic. His face is iconic to the franchise because they made Starkiller. Well, actually, Starkiller apparently looked like him, and that's part of why he got the role. But
What came first?
yeah, apparently the design did, but I don't know how much I believe that. All right, but anyway, him coming back is also really cool because there is an animated Darth Maul series in the works. Rumor has it. Yes, it would be amazing. Like the Son of Dathomir comics were very cool, and I would argue that he's one of the most tragic characters in all of Star Wars. So more Darth Maul is never a bad thing either.
Yeah, that's not an argument. He definitely is.
All right, Leia is supposed to make a return, and that's a big deal. Leia apparently is going to be have a scene with Mon Mothra, but the reason why that's a big deal is that the Heir to the Empire movie that's been rumored is supposed to star a young, well, not star, I guess, but involve a young Luke, Leia, and Han. So we saw what they did with Luke already. We saw a little bit with Leia with Rogue One, but now we're going to see a little bit more of how they plan on pulling that off in that future movie. And then what was one last? Oh yeah, last two bits of rumors from Star Wars that are not as good. Apparently, Mando and Grogu is not great. I'm not hearing good things about Mando and Grogu. Is that it doesn't really know what it wants to be, and it just feels like a side quest. There's another bounty hunter from Tebow. What's his name? I forget. The dude with the hat. He throws it like a frisbee. The bounty hunter from Clone Wars. Anyway, he's apparently the big villain, but it seems like they're just not quite sure what to do with him.
No,
Cad Bane?
not Cad Bane.
Not Cad
There's
Bane.
some. Maybe I'll have to look it up. There was
That's what we
something about
didn't
Cad
talk
Bane.
about in our stream.
We
Was
did?
no, we didn't talk about the trailer for Tales of the Underworld.
Yes.
Tales of the
There you
Underworld
go.
looks phenomenal. Tales of the Empire kind of sucked. Tales of the Jedi was great. Tales of the Underworld, I'll take it. I'll take it. Cad Bane origin? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
not a Cad fan. Oh,
No,
I
I like Cad.
No, I'm a huge fan.
As
Did
long
we
as
like-
Corey Burton
Did
voices
we
him.
like the live action look of him?
I prefer the live action look of him.
It made
Smart.
much more sense, and there's nothing wrong with it.
I don't like the horse face. It was cool, like as a background character in New Hope. We don't need to base an entire bounty hunter on him. I like the fish face shark man way better.
But they got to do something with the thing on his face like they did with Gambit. They got to just bring it in just a little bit further.
No, they don't need to do a damn thing.
No?
Leave him alone.
Okay.
It's body shaming. We're not doing that around here. All right, so the last thing, and this is also some bad news. Apparently, Jon Favreau is out of Star Wars as soon as Mando and Grogu are done, and
Really?
he apparently wants nothing to do with the movie. It's like, from the rumors are that he's like very reluctant to work on the movie, and that other people are filling in to direct a lot of pickup shots.
So that's why it sucks then.
Well, I think it sucks because he's just kind of forced out of the plans that he wanted. I think this goes all back to Gina Carano and all that. I think
Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, I think Kathleen Kennedy, who's been rumor has it, hoping that Mando and Grogu is going to be her final hoorah, and it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So if she's waiting for this, stall it. Give it give it some more time. Let it
She
cook a
just
little
needs to
longer.
go produce some movie about something else.
Yeah, and she'll do
somewhere
great.
else.
She'll do
I
great.
know.
Yeah.
Her track record's phenomenal. But
It's
Yes.
amazing that the track record is phenomenal, and yet she can't seem to buy a bucket with Star Wars. I don't get it.
it's
Now-
tough not to crack.
I don't want to stay too much more on Star Wars because there's other things that we want to talk about, but I do think that the stuff we're talking about with Ahsoka, which I do find very exciting, and the stuff that we're talking about with Andor does show this difference between what fans want and trying to cater to both within this franchise is much harder to do. And they kind of did it in the books and stuff by giving us like the X-Wing Rogue Squadron series of books while they had the Jedi Search books going on. So they kind of had different stories take place in different areas of that world, but they never had that much of a change in adult content quality, I guess. There was always kind of an even playing field that it doesn't seem like there was too much of a jump. And it seems like now, if this is true, if any of this is true, that's a pretty drastic jump. And I think that marks, it's like the death of Gwen Stacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just marks a different era in Star Wars moving forward. And it might not be a bad thing, but I don't like the way that it's happening.
Does it? Would you agree that it calls back to like the Marvel imprint Max, when Marvel brought Max around?
Kinda, but more. I think the death of Gwen Stacy because it represents the death of innocence in comic books. Like that was the beginning of the modern age, and that was the first time a hero was shown failing to such a degree. That's when books started to become a lot more adult. So, and it's widely considered the death of innocence in comic book media. So it would not surprise me if we get something similar in Star Wars moving after Andor because of this. We'll see. It really depends on how people take it. I think Marvel was like, Deadpool, Wolverine, this is incredible because it's 13-year-old humor. This is a lot more heavy, and I don't know how audiences are going to take it. All right, well, let's. You got any closing remarks?
No, I was just to say I'm looking forward to all of it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm looking forward to seeing how they pull it off. But I will say I'm way more excited for Ahsoka season 2 than I am for Andor season 2.
Yeah.
And that's what I just think. Like I know that Moshko completely disagrees, but I know that that's because he and I want two different things out of Star Wars.
I want more Bill Burr.
Yes.
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 There's nothing
Always
wrong
more
with
Bill
Bill
Burr.
Burr.
You
Yeah.
got the stormtroopers.
I don't even remember what show was he in.
Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
One of the
okay.
best episodes.
I couldn't remember.
I'm gonna show up.
Good. It's pretty good. All right. Did you guys get a chance to look at the new Peacemaker footage?
No.
No. There's not much to say about it. It definitely
I
makes me
just
smile.
saw like the picture of Cena and.
It's fun, but they don't really give you much.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, the footage is, I don't know. It's just him kind of giving a thumbs up and then putting the helmet on and like chaos. That's what you want from Peacemaker, you know. Happy
Yeah.
about that. I enjoyed season 1, and I find it funny that I'm excited for Peacemaker at all.
Well, I mean, that first season was.
I just mean as a character.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, anytime no one was excited for a Peacemaker appearance.
Well, no, this is the James
Ever.
Gunn effect, though. You know.
Right, absolutely. Yep, there you go. Hey,
Yeah.
Peacemaker season 2 in a nutshell, right there. And for anyone listening, it's just Cena giving a thumbs up. That's it.
I have a bigger question. Huey, can you scroll to the top again?
Sure.
Keep going. Keep going. Why are you getting ads in Spanish?
Just a look at Necesitas.
That is a very good question.
That's funny.
Let's get rid of that. There we go.
All right. Well, before we get into some industry news, I got one more leak to talk about. One more rumor. This one's less of a rumor. This one's more. I guess I just want to spitball on this. Apparently, in Spider-Man 4, they are casting an Asian man in his 30 to 50s to play a big role. And since we know it's Spider-Man Brand New Day, was there any particular characters who of Asian descent who were
Mr. Negative?
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Negative.
Negative.
Go, Mr. Negative. It would not surprise me at all if we just learned who the villain in this new grounded version. Oh, go back and listen to our YouTube show and find out that I was very wrong on all of my ideas for this Venom crossover. Apparently that's not happening anymore, and we might actually be getting a much more grounded Star Wars story, probably now based on this news, based on the Spider-Man game more.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Okay.
All right.
Especially if you're
I'm
introducing Mr. Negative.
I'm cool with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen,
Like
the
if this is the
Spider-Man
Milton Miles
games,
trilogy, let's go.
the Spider-Man games have probably been the best Spider-Man stories that involve Miles
100%.
and also bringing these characters in. Yeah, let's do that.
100%.
Actually,
problem.
so good that I would argue it's on par, if not better, than Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, I would say.
I would say
the
on
Spider-Man
par.
game
I
is
don't
yeah.
want to say better just yet.
No, I will.
I will.
I wouldn't say it was
all right.
even a contest.
Get out of here.
And
Lance.
I got a cool idea for somebody that could play Mr. Negative. Just pull Scorpion.
yeah,
perfect look.
actually,
Perfect
yes, he
look.
would be incredible.
Yep.
So,
Wait,
if
what?
any of you don't know, Mr. Negative is a newer character, as we said, brand new day, so he's 2008. If you have played the game, that you know that it's Martin Lee what's experimental drugs that gave him the same powers, or like the kind of energy that Cloak and Dagger use. So it's light and dark energy that kind of gave him a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing, where he's like this really nice, charitable guy who then turns into a crime lord named Mr. Negative.
And didn't he run Feast as
Yes.
Martin Lee?
So
Yeah.
it makes the most sense. It makes perfect sense because you can even say he's who took over Feast after poor Aunt May's passing.
And he's
100%.
the actor I was suggesting who plays Scorpion. His name is Hiroyuki Sanada.
Well, thank you for bringing that back.
Well, rumor
no problem.
has it we have someone in mind already for this role.
Really?
Ooh.
Oh,
Yes, rumor is it's Brian T.
Oh,
So for
Brian.
those of
Brian.
you,
Good old Brian.
for those of you who watched
Brian.
Reacher, he's the antagonist in the show.
Oh, okay. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's
There you
pretty
go.
good. He's good this season. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
I'm
I'm
good.
with that.
That's good.
Either of those suggestions are good. I'm good with both of those.
Yeah, his name's getting kicked around a lot for this.
I mean, you know what? I think you would like him too because he's from Tokyo Drift, right?
Oh, good lord.
he is holy.
Nope,
sh-
nope, nope,
No.
nope, 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 no Fast and Furious tangents. Nope.
Wait.
What's going on with Diamond? Diamond Collections. What's going on with Diamond?
Oh, you're trying to
I think I got a call from
somebody
him
else
last
talk
week.
about it while I look this up.
All right. Well, I got him for a second there. Alliance Entertainment, who for anybody,
Oh my God, it is. God damn it.
for anybody who doesn't know, while he's going down memory lane, recently
makes
Diamond's
total sense.
comics distribution went bankrupt. We know that they
Yeah.
were auctioning to the highest bidder, who
fucking
was a
DK.
lot of really cool people going for
Sorry.
it. But Alliance Entertainment is who won. But apparently that their bid is, while the winning bid, what is it right there? 72. No, that's not it. That's the assets. I forget what the actual bid was, but their bid
The
was,
winning bid was 72 million, a little,
Oh,
little
was it?
over that.
Whew.
Yeah.
But
Just to help
Universal apparently underbid them, but they're going with the underbid of 69 million.
Yes.
And because of that, Alliance is like, well, hold on. You can't just say out of nowhere, even though we won the bid, that we didn't.
Right. What?
So now they're suing to try and get the what they paid for.
This is the equivalent of you winning something on eBay and then the person's canceling it so they can then sell it to somebody who lives down the street from them at a cheaper price and then not have to pay the
shipping
all the
yeah.
fees included.
The
Yeah, pretty
Fifis.
So no one's going to trust Diamond ever again.
Yeah.
No.
Diamond's brand is just ruined beyond ruined, and this does not help it.
I mean, just by Lance talking about missing his comics every week, that's ruined
Yeah.
the brand enough
Right. Yeah.
to our audience.
It's been rough.
I mean, their brand has been ruined over the years. They've been consistently the one distribution company that's always causing issues or having
Yep.
issues.
I mean, the whole comic industry tanks over COVID, but then we start seeing the end of Diamond, and everyone was kind of like, well, this is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Diamond has just been a travesty, and, I don't almost like good riddance.
Yeah.
At this point,
Yeah.
I'm happy to diversify that market a little bit. I'm happy
Hopefully
they no longer have their
optimistic.
stranglehold.
We're cautiously optimistic. There we go. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, the other ones are still doing fine, right? Random House, they're Lunar, right? They're doing fine. We haven't had issues with them at our shop, at least.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
Diamond's the only
And that's
thing. I'm still waiting for some Power Ranger comics to show up from them.
Wow.
Good luck.
Damn.
All right. Well, before we move over to our comic book reviews, I want to take some time to really get into the mind of Rye/Felix Hergood. It's
boy.
been a long time.
It's been a long time.
We shouldn't have left you.
Without a
I can
dope
tell you
pod
what I'm.
to step to?
I can tell you
I did it.
specifically.
Come on! I set you up, and I was actually more.
What did you set me up for?
I appreciate you features.
I wasn't even
No.
listening.
I'm still amazed
Why
that
still listening?
I'm still amazed that Brian T is DK from Tokyo Drift, and it completely slipped my mind.
He's also
he's
Noboro.
also in-
He's Noboro
Wolverine.
from the Wolverine. Yeah.
Yep.
He's also in Chicago Med.
All right,
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Brian.
Jurassic World, Menti? Who's in Jurassic World?
Jurassic World. Yep.
We all
So-
have IMDb. We know. We all have IMDb. We all looked it up.
What is okay? So since it's been forever since you've been
Yeah.
on this show, are you
Yes.
still first off into comics?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, good.
I'm like 150% into comics from when I was in them before. Like I said, I've been going pretty steadily with a friend of mine on Wednesdays over to the showcase in Bryn Mawr, and I've been, going there for the purpose of experiencing a comic shop on Comic Book Day. You know what I mean? Yes, I look at the stuff that is, featured that day, and I'm excited about seeing those titles, but I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. I'm on a mission. I'm collecting here, okay? And I do runs. It was funny. I went to visit a friend that lives down in Delaware, and he's about my age, and I found out that he collects comics as well, but he's a different kind of collector. He started bringing out all these crazy number ones. Like, he's a number one collector. Like, first appearance, not number one.
That's
First
most
appearance.
of us, bro. Most of us
Right.
are
I say,
the
I'm-
Punisher guy.
But I'm not the Punisher guy. I'm just a completionist when it comes to a run. That's what I am.
Not when it comes to a run. I've seen you play video games. That's not true at all. You are just a completionist, period.
You're right. I am definitely a
How many different
completionist when it
platforms
comes.
have you played Skyrim on?
Oh, at least 7.
And completed all of them.
Don't
No,
bring up
that's not
Fallout
true.
or it's all
That's
over.
not true. Yeah, and Fallout. I have Fallout 76 on 2 consoles.
That's the Rye I know and love.
What I was just going to start off by telling you what I'm reading currently, which I think is something that's overdue. To be
You're
honest
currently,
with you.
wait. You just said you weren't currently reading and that you were buying back books. You're
No.
currently reading something?
I'm buying not current.
What he's
books.
reading right
I'm
now.
Currently reading something right now.
Oh, got you.
But it's old. It's old. I'm reading a book that is called Fantastic First, and as you know, there are Fantastic Firsts for all different types of things. But the specific one are the first issues of all the major Marvel superheroes. So it's every single first comic, which I have never read. Because most of them take place during the 60s. You guys probably have. But I didn't realize the thing that shocked me initially was how close the storylines of the MCU movies were to those comics. Like, I
With a
was blown.
sprinkle of the original Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
There's a little sprinkle of another origin universe in there. But yes.
Like, specifically, I was just reading when Captain America is introduced. Now, the only thing when Captain America is introduced to the Avengers, which is what I was just reading, the only thing that's different is the presence of Namor. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, yeah.
how
Which
he's
is good.
found in the
Which we're
ice
happy.
and how he. Yeah. No, wait, we don't like Namor.
No, I do. No one else does.
No, so you know how Lance says Cyclops sucks? I don't agree with that. Namor sucks.
Namor does
That's
suck.
fair.
That's
fair.
Where I'm at. That's where I'm at with that.
I mean,
I don't expect many to like him.
a lot of the writing,
abs you have to have for those wings to actually carry you.
I'm enjoying the novelty of reading these stories and seeing how similar they are to the Marvel Cinematic Universe introductions, but I'm glad that they adapted. I'm glad that they were brought into the new and that they accommodate modern times, because the writing is very hokey in that early stuff.
That was also the Marvel method. The writing
Yeah.
was hokey because it was written out of order. They would draw the comic. So Stan Lee would say, "This is what I want the comic to be about," or whoever. Then the artist would work on it, and then they would fill in the bubbles after the fact with the actual storyline.
Oh, okay. Now
So that's how they were able to get
context.
so
That's good
fast.
context.
That's why it's called the Marvel method.
Okay, now I understand.
And they tried doing something similar with TV shows by not having real showrunners, and it did not work out well for them. But
So
real quick, I need to give a little
ahead.
bit of context to you, because I'm
Yeah.
just realizing something that everyone should know if you don't. Rye might be the biggest aficionado on the MCU I've ever met. And the reason why I say that is that every single time an MCU property came out, he didn't just watch that and maybe the couple movies that led. He had to watch the entire MCU. The entire
I'm getting ready
thing.
to watch it again. I'm going to add it to my queue pretty soon, and I'm
There
going
it
to do
is.
it all.
He's seen some of
chronologically.
these movies like 30, 40 times. So
Yeah, and now I've because of what Disney did, I now have to incorporate all of the Marvel noir, like the Daredevil and the Jessica Jones, because that's all canon now. But I love that. I love canon. Bring
So
me more.
Thunderbolts
into
is
the
about
canon.
to drop, and Rye takes like a week off from work.
I don't think I'm going to be doing it for the Thunderbolts, but I'm just doing it in general. I just want
Ooh,
to
did
go through it all again.
Speaking of which, did you guys see in the new ad that he name drops Void?
Oh no, I didn't
Yeah,
hear
in
it.
the last buy a ticket ad, the floating, what's his name? Palsy? Bill, what's this dude's name? What's the Sentry's name? Bill Paul? No.
Bill Pullman.
Bill
Pullman. Bill Pullman.
Pullman.
He's
Luke Pullman.
Luke?
The son.
The son is Luke. Luke Pullman.
Oh, I thought he was Bill. Anyway.
Bill is the older. He was from Independence Day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Bill Pullman.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Played the president.
he's floating around the sky and he says, "I am the Void," which I mean we all knew was coming, but it was
It's Lewis. Luke.
it's pretty cool for that to happen.
Oh, is it
So-
Lewis? It's not Luke. Yeah, you're
Lewis.
right.
It's Lewis.
Lewis. Yes, that makes sense.
You're right.
I'm like,
It is. It's not Luke. It's Lewis.
I have IMDb too.
I had it right there, but I did not pick it up. The other comic I read was a Garth Ennis run called Sarah,
That's
about
always
World War II Russian snipers.
Oh, cool.
It was a it was a 6-book arc that went finished, and I bought that a couple of years ago and never had a chance to read it. I love Garth Ennis because of the Punisher Max,
Yeah.
Preacher. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I love Garth Ennis. So I navigate. If anyone said like, what writer do you navigate to when you pass something on a shelf and you go, oh, that's interesting? It's usually a Garth Ennis thing. I've always been into him. But for the record, I have all 75 books of the Punisher Max. Like I bought them all.
Wow.
I have every one in the run, and then I have even the
We all
trade paper.
believe you.
I even have the trade paperbacks. I bought all the trade. Those are for reading. The books stay in the, in the miles.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah, I know that world.
I'm addicted.
I know that
yeah.
one.
So Sarah was really cool. I would check that out. Garth Ennis, really good. Russian
See,
snipers.
you should. That's the new books you should be looking into. Like Moshko, Deviant.
Yeah,
Rye probably would enjoy Deviant.
probably.
There's some books that are worth your time they're not superheroes that you have to stay up with.
Department of Truth.
Department. Oh,
Yeah.
Department of Truth.
Department of Truth. Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Buzz
Rye
got us
book.
on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I created a reading corner in my new apartment. It's over there. And I literally, that's where I pull the chair over and I sit and I read among the pages of all the books that I've collected so far. And I'm trying to catch up. That's one thing I didn't do in my previous living situation. I didn't read the books that I was buying. So I'm excited now that I got a chance to read, and I'm into
You
it.
sound so much like a comic book fan. It's not even funny because
Oh,
all
yeah.
of us have
Yeah.
giant read piles.
Yeah. And I'm just not reading what's newer. I'm like focused on getting the content that I've already collected. I mean, right now I'm heavily collecting Volume 2 of Punisher. That's 1987 to 1995, and I'm gonna collect that entire series. Like
I believe
halfway,
you.
I'm over halfway there. I got almost all the books, and it's like 180 books or something. Yeah.
But as you continue your journey into comic book fandom, as you're now heading to the shop on Wednesdays, we're going to start recommending books that you should pick up.
Okay, and I will. I don't know if I'm to pull list level yet because I don't know if I'm there yet. But I'll take recommendations and then buy them.
Cool.
Hey,
All right.
the trade Volume 2 for the trade paperback for Deviant comes out May 14th, so where I can pick up both those for trades.
Is Deviant a character? Is that what we're saying
Deviant
here?
is a slasher thriller detective psychological. It's really good.
That's definitely right up my alley.
Did you watch? Was it Blackbird? Or
I
no,
didn't.
not Blackbird. If you enjoyed Manhunt on Netflix,
You mean Mindhunter?
Mindhunter. There you go. Sorry, thinking of the other
Yeah.
Manhunt.
Manhunt is a video game from the early 2000s that is
that the-
incredible.
That GameStop or
The
EB Games at the
top-down
time
with the
was
car.
not allowed to talk about.
I know. Manhunt was the first video game I ever played where you could behead somebody and then put their head in a sack and carry their head around. Like it was. Manhunt is nuts. I love that. It's a Rockstar game. Grand Theft Auto.
Even when I
that makes
don't
sense now.
intentionally try to deviate from from
Part
what
of me
we're talking
was
about, it happens naturally.
Look, I got through all the stories. Let them go. Let them go.
Yeah, let me go. Just let me.
But yes, Mindhunter, but from the eyes of the deviant.
Cool. Yeah, Mindhunter's a really good, one of my favorite shows.
Yeah,
big
it would have been
fan.
great if they went to the third season, but
All right, now
He's
I'm
a busy man.
Now I'm stopping.
He's a busy man.
Now you're going.
Oh,
Now,
we're too much of a tangent here.
way
what
too
they're
much
gonna
in the weeds.
dial into BTK and all right.
Yep.
No. Vetoing at this point. I think.
I like my Star Wars as a child.
Well, we spent a lot of time talking about being a comic book fan, so why don't we go ahead and talk about some comic books?
Hell yeah.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we bring this full circle and talk about last week's books? Because I didn't even wear my Green Lantern hat. What's wrong with me?
You did not.
man.
You screwed up, Menti.
I did. I screwed it up.
Backdrop's not green, man.
I know, man. I did not. I wasn't prepared for this at all, but it deserved me to be prepared, to be honest. So first off, Absolute Green Lantern #1 dropped, and out of all the absolutes, I am very excited for this one.
Yeah.
I think this is a really exciting first open, and it's another one very similar to The Flash, that if you're a longtime Green Lantern fan, you're going to notice some things that have really wild implications. If you're not, you're going to be like, okay, this is a unique take. But, man, spoiler alert from here on out, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yep.
So
I did
this-
not. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, please, Lance.
I did not expect it to be horror.
Yeah,
I did
well,
not.
Did
I
it-
kind of did.
Horror?
Kind of did, yeah. Because once you realize who Hal is, that changes everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
Right,
I
but
didn't
I
realize
didn't go
who he
into
was
it.
then.
So
So-
when you start reading it, I didn't expect horror, but yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but the moment once we see Hal's hand, that's when we know we're getting into severe horror territory here. So that he's the new Black Hand. Abin Sur came to yeah. So for anybody who
Wow,
doesn't
light
know what
bulb
I'm
for
talking about,
features.
that is the Blackest Night storyline, which is one of the best Green Lantern storylines that has ever happened. It took an entire Jeff Johns era to lead up to this one story arc of the Black Lanterns, which are essentially zombie lanterns, and that's how they resurrect a lot of the dead heroes from the DC continuity. And that's when Brightest Day came around, and they, that's when we got Batman back. And turned out it really wasn't Batman. And anyway, a whole other story there. But the Blackest Night storyline is what got me into Green Lantern, and I believe it is worth everyone's time to read that book if they have even a slight passing interest in who that character is. It's phenomenal. But starting the book with him becoming what looks like a different version of the Black Hand is wild.
Yeah.
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 Forever, it's the Sinestro Corps. It's always been the Yellow Lanterns. The Yellow Lanterns have always been the antithesis of willpower, and they've always been the big back and forth. To open right up to the Blackest Night storyline is nuts. So we also didn't see the Green Lantern all too much. We just saw Hal trying to figure out what the hell's happening to him after he got the I guess it's the black ring. We haven't seen his hand because it's just like a dark void.
But
It
didn't seem like there was a ring at all on him.
It didn't look like there was a ring on his finger, but you're probably right. There probably is. But very much like how Flash gave us glimpses of Gorilla Grodd, this giving us glimpses into that kind of story so fast makes me very excited to how they can bring in the rest of the Lantern Corps and how you reshape the Blackest Night mythos so early in the story.
Right.
Yes. I loved it.
I'm super excited for this book.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, the different directions they can go, and like Mint said, like jumping in this early, it's definitely a game changer.
Well, and then also, who are the Lanterns to just drop their logo on a town? Like, these aren't normal Lanterns. So all of a sudden, they look on the news and there's this big travesty, and you think the travesty is the thing that Hal Jordan's running away from, and it really isn't. But for some reason, a giant Green Lantern logo like crushes a town.
Yeah. Is the logo the ship or?
That's a good question.
We don't know yet.
We don't know.
It's a good question.
The before the book came out, they were saying it was supposed to be a power battery, but that doesn't look like a battery. So it could be a ship, it could be a battery, it could just be a construct.
So okay, now that you said that, it could be the battery because once it landed, now Hal's got the Black Hand powers, and we already know now.
This isn't Black Hand like we've known Black Hand. Just so we're on the same page. The Black Lantern rings go onto dead bodies and reanimate them. So the fact that the first Black Lantern ring came from the suicide of the main character.
Oh.
So he kills his family, he kills his mom and his dad, then he takes himself out, and from that action creates the first Black Lantern ring that resurrects him.
Well, Hal doesn't look like he's in great condition to begin with, so he could be dead. Right?
Ooh.
He could be. He died with the battery falling on him.
Yeah. So now, Minty, let me ask you, because you read the Blackest Night
hold
series.
on,
I know
hold
I
on.
haven't.
Before I lose this thought,
Okay.
if you look back when it does the time jump to the 5 days earlier, like he looks like he's in good shape.
That's
Right.
true. Well, yeah,
And
but he also is distraught because he killed a few people.
and he's walked a couple miles from his town to the next.
Just about 500.
And that was-
I mean, dude killed cops. I mean,
Yeah.
I see you.
Those
Lester.
55-year-old references, man, they're never going to go.
Is that the Proclaimers?
all right,
Yes,
well,
the Proclaimers.
where does this fit in the hierarchy now?
I would say it was one of the better songs that came out in the early.
Yes.
All right, Superman's still number one.
Yes.
Betty in June, baby.
Batman number two. That last issue of Batman, especially with Boot and the Kid, and
Yeah.
Off
it
of,
was-
wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Off of issue ones.
off of issue ones. Ooh.
Okay.
Off
Yeah.
of issue ones.
Ooh.
Oh, don't do that because Wonder Woman should start now.
Right.
Right.
Oh my God.
But
Last Wonder Woman was so good. The art was beautiful.
off of issue ones, I'm putting Batman 1, this number 2
Oh wow.
for me.
Superman needed a second issue.
Yeah.
Superman's my favorite book, but it definitely
Yeah.
wasn't the most exciting
They
when it
didn't
first
give us
came out.
enough.
Batman was. Wonder
Yeah.
Woman was interesting. So I'd probably go Batman. I mean, I'm a sucker. I'm Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, and then Superman. Wow, Superman had the worst intro, but it's the best book.
Yep.
I don't. It might not have been the worst intro, just different.
Well, it just didn't give enough. There wasn't enough of the
Yeah.
story. Like hell, we just got the origin with the Kents. I mean, let's move over to Absolute
let's do
Superman
it.
number 6.
Wait. So is this last?
Yes.
Oh, Martian Manhunter, I forgot. Yeah, it is. It
It
is.
is.
But let's just make sure we also we're
I
all on the
put
same
it
page.
before Flash for me.
They're all great.
Yes.
Yes.
It's that's why this is difficult to really place them in a hierarchy.
It's similar to the Ultimates. The Ultimate Universe is also really good. Yeah. No. Well, I guess you're right. There's some duds. There's some duds, and there might be some absolute duds. We don't have enough of them yet, but so far, none of them are. So far, none of them are. And Superman 6 was incredible.
Yeah.
Getting the full origin story of teenage Cal showing up on Earth, not understanding the language. There was the way that he connected with the Kents, and then the first time you hear Pa Kent say "son," is really, really impactful. It's beautifully done,
dude. That issue almost made me tear up, just to how they connected everything, and even the dichotomy of the Kents to his parents, him just showing up, and they're like, well, he starts working on things at the farm, even though he can't understand what they're saying, and they don't understand him. And he's like, well, you look like you must have been on a farm before, which yes, he has, and it's just so amazing how it all came together. And he's like, man, it's starting to feel like how Superman, like that original Superman feeling, and then the Peacemaker show up.
Right.
Oh yeah.
These moments keep getting ripped from him, and he's still being hopeful.
The ship becoming the suit, that was freaking sweet.
Well, we knew that already, right?
Yeah, it just was the way that.
Oh, the panel.
Yeah.
You just mean the panel?
Yeah, seeing it.
Absolutely. The book, Rye, if you're unaware of what we're talking about, because you might be, they rebooted the DC universe recently, and that's what.
I figured it's called the Absolute Universe.
Yes. And in this universe, Darkseid became the Spectre and removed all of the areas of support from the superheroes. So Superman shows up as a teenager, so he's not raised by the Kents. You have Batman does not have wealth. Wonder Woman comes from hell. There are no Amazons. The Flash is Wally West, and Barry dies before he ever gets a chance to really learn how to use it.
Wow.
We spoiled that a while
we
ago.
talked about this.
And then Green Lantern has Hal Jordan as the Black Hand, if I'm right. And man, Martian Manhunter is also wild. Martian Manhunter was a much better read than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Even though it's the lowest because I don't know what.
Sounds a
And it had
little darker. It's got an
Much
edge
darker.
to it.
Yeah, it's a definite
yes.
edge. Yeah.
It's Darkseid
Yeah.
universe.
Hell,
So
Batman booted a kid off a boat the last issue.
punches
Just
a
punted a
child.
child. I'm like, what is
and smiled gleefully doing it.
Maybe I should start collecting some DC comics.
Yes.
You should.
Especially if it's the Absolute Universe. This is...
Yeah, this is a good time too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, hell, the Ultimate books, Ultimate Spider-Man's like a $90 to $100 book now. Number one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, number one.
Because it's good, Lance. That's why.
It has its moments.
Hey,
come
man, that
on,
last
man.
issue and where I think it's going. If I'm right,
It's just like the Absolute Batman. Like that latest issue was amazing, but it wasn't bringing it back around because it was starting to fall, and then it was just like, oh, okay, I'm back. But I feel like
Sorry, Lance. When did this reboot happen?
About 6 months ago.
yeah,
6 months?
Yeah.
Run issue 6. So
Well, that's
there was an
absolute-
event.
Ultimate's
in.
way later than that.
No, I just meant when the DC Absolute.
Yeah. Absolute's very recent. Yeah, it's just a few months
Okay.
ago.
Yeah.
All right, so we did Absolute Green Lantern. We did Absolute Superman. Let's talk about Moshko's favorite. Let's talk about the book that Moshko's been waiting on because he relates to Old Man Daredevil.
God.
Let's talk about
Yes.
Cold Day in Hell.
Yeah.
yes.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
Was it?
Oh, no.
You didn't read it?
Oh,
of
no.
course I did. I'm
Oh.
just,
I thought it
Yeah.
was so good. You didn't like
Dude.
it?
oh, I did.
Oh.
Oh,
It
all
was
right.
Way
crap out of me. I
better
said,
than I
I
phenomenal.
it was
love
gonna
the
be.
art. I love the writing. I love the story. Like this is a very very cool story so far.
Poor Cap.
Cameo.
Yeah, Cap.
Oh.
Poor Cap.
Yeah.
Ooh, poor Cap. We don't have to go into detail about that.
Poor Fisk.
Yeah.
Eh,
Vanessa.
yeah.
I see you found my gravestone.
But yeah, that's one actually, Rye, if you're into Daredevil and reading now.
Not yet.
Or excuse me, or watching the show, this is a good one
I am.
to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is the Dark Knight Returns for Daredevil. This is a story of Daredevil in his like late 60s, mid 60s.
I want to say late 50s.
But he's completely blind now.
So
we don't
about
know
your
how,
age.
but he lost his powers.
Yeah.
and his powers start to come back, and it's a really, so far, issue 1, can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the rest of it. It's a doozy, and yeah, Marvel, I know a lot of people are still saying that comics are bad, but comics have been very good for a while.
Yeah,
Very good.
for sure.
There's been some duds, but for the most part,
Yes.
Overall, yeah.
we have been eating well on those racks for quite a while. So
sure.
so don't let the naysayers fool you. There are absolutely books worth reading right now.
Meant
Yeah,
you almost wish there weren't doing so good. You help
Oh
your
yeah, you
wallet
got
out.
the variant cover.
Yeah, the variant.
honestly.
Nice.
He
Always
only
cover
gets
B's,
cover
baby.
B
covers.
over here. Ugh. Ugh. I hate cover B's.
Cover beats are stupid.
Hey, come on now.
There's some cool art in a lot of
So
cover.
we're
Bs.
not going to expand on this.
No, I want to expand on this. I was actually just about to say, Moshko, please expand on this.
Yes. Tell us your thoughts.
My thoughts. I said earlier I had to read it twice. It was one of those
That's not
things
usually
where,
a good sign.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I know like halfway through I started to go somewhere else.
Oh.
And then I finished it and I realized I missed some
So it didn't pass
plot
the phone
points.
check.
It was more computer check. Same idea. Same idea. I don't know. I had to post a video or something. Who knows? But I there was like I didn't know offhand like at the the antagonist at the end. Didn't know who that was at first. So I caught it the second time around.
Well, it's Bullseye, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
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 It's a very
Yeah.
old ass Bullseye. One of his things, with age, a lot of people, they're what am I looking for? I'm looking for a word.
showing your age.
Their physical faculties start to go in a different direction, and Bullseye, extremely accurate, very dialed in, and steady hand. He does not have steady hands in this.
Right.
And the way he steadied his hand was by shoving a pin or a nail through it, so he could, feel the shield from Cap that the criminals took.
Well, I love that Daredevil had that moment too of him realizing that his body isn't what it used to be.
Oh, yeah.
When he was like, and I'll flip off this, and I'm like, oh, well, hold on, no, I won't.
When he started getting his powers back, and he was just
I got
Yeah,
this.
Listen, but you know what? I love how, because it showcases how the hero mindset is in Marvel Comics. Once they see danger, they just instantly react. They don't think about it. Like Daredevil
You're right.
through the whole, like from the beginning, she's like, "Yeah, I'm an old man. I don't have powers anymore." He tells you like literally what's going on, and then once he regains his abilities, he just starts moving. And like he said, once he gets that rooftop part, he's like, swing down, I'm going to get him. And he goes, wait a minute, fool. Like, I don't have it. You almost slipped off of the...
I'm about to snap an ankle.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily say like when this is taking place. It's in the future. It's in New York. For whatever reason, I read like the end notes all the way at the back of this book, which I never do. And on that, the Wilson Fisk headstone, they said it was basically they did a script in the back of the book, and the script said, let's write on there, husband, father, king, put each one on its own line, and then put like it said like something to 2035, meaning, I don't know if this is exactly when that takes place, but it's a New York that's in the not so distant future. I'm trying to think of the video game just to
they omitted it though
Division.
from the. There was
so
no-
Ryan, I'm sure you're aware of the Division, the video game. Like it seems
of
like
course.
New York is kind of in that kind of like there's this. They kept saying DB. I didn't quite get what that was.
DMZ type thing.
Right, but there's like an underground criminal organization or
The dumb babies.
Yeah,
They're rough, man. You gotta watch out.
but like
for
a
dumb
dirty
babies.
bomb goes off, and that's how Daredevil gets like his. I guess.
Oh,
his
dirty
powers.
bomb.
Dirty bomb.
That makes way more sense.
Yep.
Well, that's what the bomb
Dumb
was. It was a
babies.
radioactive or a dirty nuke. But the wow, where was I going with this?
We left off at the dumb babies.
Nice. Oh, I think he got his sight back.
Oh, at the very end.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
he's actually seeing now because it kept like zooming in on his eyes, and they look very bright and vibrant.
Can't wait to find out. That's
But
what
the biggest thing is Bullseye has a friend who's chained up to a wall that looks
Yes.
like they've taken a lot of torture and damage, and that's Frank Castle.
Oh,
Yeah,
Frankie
you've seen
boy.
that.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta
He's
pick it
missing
up
his
now.
limbs.
Definitely.
Yep.
Well, this won't be a Frank that.
You won't
unless he
recognize
becomes
this Frank.
Castle, which would be kind of a cool way to tie that into it, where he gets like robotic arms and legs.
That's
He's not
true.
doing much.
No,
It's kind of just hanging
Yeah.
around.
yeah,
there's like all holes in his. It's
yeah, he's got
It's
pock
intense.
marks everywhere.
Did we get a preview for this in a previous book? Because I feel like I read the first 2-3 pages.
You did.
before.
yeah, it was the whole
Yeah.
cemetery scene.
How we talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've been excited for this book.
Mhm.
And
Like a
it
year,
lived-
like a year ago, I think, almost.
lived up to it, man. It was really, really great first issue.
Yeah.
Now, if it hits the second issue, that's the hard one.
Yep.
That's the drop off point.
Yeah.
Is it poll list from the first issue?
All right, I'm real quick. GI Joe Silent Mission Beachhead.
It's a quick read.
Not even worth it.
Quick read.
No, because it has nothing to do with the universe that I care about. They got to stop doing this.
That's why I was amazed that you read it.
I didn't mean to. This is twice now that this franchise has tricked me into buying the wrong book.
Give him his
I think
Scarlet.
there's more, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I read the back of the book. Who does that? They said this is like one of 5. So each one's there's another one coming out next week, and after that, leading up to I guess number 316 of
Never again.
A Real American Hero.
Never again. I'm done. I'm out. Twice now, GI Joe.
They
Like half of your stuff.
From what it said, they ran I guess way back in the 80s when this series first started, they ran into issues where they were hitting deadlines and they couldn't really make them, so they would not write dialogue and just do the art. And this entire book, there's no dialogue whatsoever.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
remember
a picture book.
It is
back in
absolutely
the-
a picture book.
it was either the late 90s or early 2000s, Marvel did the Nuff Said. It was Spider-Man, an Avengers book. It's all just art. There's no word bubbles at all. It's actually it's a really good because you're actually you're reading in your head of what's happening.
Huey's favorite read.
Yep, of course.
That and the Snowman book from when we were kids.
Snowman book?
You guys don't remember that Snowman book?
No.
No words in it? All right. Never mind. That's my age.
You ever see the guy on Instagram who will rap the Dr. Seuss books?
Yes.
So
So good.
phenomenal.
So good. It's a good tangent, but I'm gonna reel it back in before that goes anywhere else. Last book from me that was a big book this week was Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe one last time.
Yeah.
Last time.
Deadpool
Is
Kills
it a
the
cash grab?
Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe 1. Outstanding. A lot of fun.
This one?
Illustrated. Really good. Love that a lot. Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe 2. Really bad. Not a fan. This first issue is really fun. It harkens back to the original Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe and finding out that he actually does serve a purpose. So he is being sent after all of the evil variations of the heroes. So the first hero he comes across is Superior Spider-Man.
Okay.
So he's taking on the evil versions of each character after he's already gone through and killed all of the others. It actually opens up with him in a sea full of dead Deadpools, and remember that's what the whole point of the Deadpool Kills Deadpool, which happened right after Illustrated, where he tries to kill himself because that evil version put himself together with all the other versions. He's just like this
Is
Frankenstein.
that the one where he tried to kill the writers?
That's Illustrated.
No,
right.
no. That was Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. That was the first one. Illustrated was after he realized it wasn't enough to just kill them and the writers, because more writers would come back using the archetypes of those characters and eventually rewrite them. So he had to go back and kill Moby Dick. He had to go back and kill. So he had to kill. He killed Sherlock Holmes. So that's Illustrated. So it's a whole series of books, and he still is a very depressed Deadpool. It's not the Deadpool everyone knows, because the reason he's killing everyone is he realizes that all of his friends are being tormented because writers want to make interesting stories. So he thinks the only way to save his friends is to kill them all. So
You
that's
might
the
have
book.
just killed our monetization on this video by saying kill 37 times.
My bad.
All right, you're
Unalived.
Unalived.
The
The
unalived.
Marvel Universe.
No, it's good. We can do that.
Have you ever seen him on the animated? What was that? Spider-Man cartoon was that? Where he shows
the one with Drake Bell as
the best.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
such a good episode where he's like, I can't say the K word, so we're just gonna say unalived. He's unalived.
That was Will Friedle played him.
Yes, he did a great job. It's a very funny episode. All right, well, that was my books this week. Anybody else?
Yeah, I can fly through some of mine. X-Men 14, very forgettable. I'm still
Next.
going to keep up with it because
Next.
that's mine.
Move on. Nope.
One day it's gonna get good, and we're all gonna feel silly.
Yeah,
Won't
it
be-
will.
won't
And
be-
when it happens, I'll let you know.
I won't be around for that.
I Heart Skull Crusher issue 8. Again, fun
Why?
book specifically for me.
That's a features book. It's okay.
But
There's-
why is it still going? That's what I
people
want
like
to know.
features.
Story isn't done.
It should have ended after 5.
Wow.
Oh
No,
wait,
shit.
you read it too? Oh, I thought you were making fun of him. Oh
No, I read it up
No.
until the ending, and then I stopped reading it.
Dude, I would say pick it back up. If you enjoyed the first couple issues that you read, pick it back up because they're getting into like the tail end of the tournament stuff. So, it's dope. I've read
Take your
Venom.
word.
Yeah, I read Venom number 5. I
tried.
probably shouldn't.
Why? Why?
Dude, I'm done.
But where did
So-
they go from here?
Spoiler alert: we got it. Did we say this
spoil
last
it already?
week?
I feel like
Yeah,
we already
last
did.
week.
Well, I
Last
mean,
week.
Big spoiler
Marvel
alert.
spoiled it. Yeah.
Big spoiler alert. Rye,
Yeah.
if you want to be a collector, this might be an issue to buy. Probably not, but go
So
ahead.
I went to a little rinky-dink comic convention over the weekend. There were people selling that book with the Mary Jane cover for $150.
What?
Jesus.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
it's no.
Do you see that they're also for Spider-Man #1? They're bringing Paul back.
Ugh.
Dude,
I need them to off Paul.
just leave it alone. Just let
Issue
Mary
1.
Jane go back to being Mary Jane.
Yeah.
With that cover, Huey, I'm trying to think of how you could justify that price. It had to have been
You
like
can't.
the
There's
no.
no
If
way.
it's like
No.
if it's like the 1 in 50, I can understand.
No.
It was the one where it's just her head on the Venom body.
But they also
Yeah.
had one with Madam Mask that had the Venom
Throw
body.
people off.
Correct. They did release that multiple times with all the different, like, the one with Luke Cage on it. And so
Yeah. That's who it should have
I
been.
don't know what the one in whatever is with that one,
Yeah.
but
I mean, there's
Yeah.
because
Dumb.
I picked up I didn't get it. I was sent it. This was when I was actually ordering books from a distributor. It was like a punchline, like 1 in 100. They gave it out to strictly
people ordering them.
the distributors. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody got one. And I know that was like the big book of that. Like that thing came out, it was immediately like $350.
Jeez.
Who knows what it is now, but
Dang.
anyway, maybe it's
All right.
justified.
So, my last book, and surprisingly enough, I read Ironheart #1. Few things I want to say about this. It is a good read. I know initially Riri Williams started off as kind of like this Iron Man replacement. This book makes her feel like her very own character. She has a very decent nemesis who rivals her intellect. And more importantly, at least for me, Riri Williams being one of the black characters in the Marvel Universe, this was written so well. And I've said multiple times on the show, they do not write black characters well. She is based out of the south side of Chicago. When I say they used the colloquialisms from that city, it was probably the best part for me. There's a piece in there where this guy's being interviewed after everything happens. He goes, yeah, so this chick shows up. She turned everybody to glass. I don't know what's going on. It was like whoop wop the bam. I'm like, yo, that is Chicago slang. Like this is. It was the best thing ever, and I feel like if they keep writing like that, things that you can, like people can gravitate towards, this is what's going to make that character pop even more.
Yeah, but at the same time, we also have Falcon or Captain America and what's his name, Red Hulk.
Yeah.
It's just like you want the reverse of everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
That book just the more you look into that book, the more problematic that book feels.
It was super bad. But I wanna just give if I know you might not listen, but the writer is John Jennings, and he's gonna have me keep on getting these Ironheart books, and just to see where it goes from here.
Wow.
Listen, the writing was good. It stands out. He makes Ironheart her own character. So this
You
does
make
not
me
feel
want to
like,
read an Ironheart book, and I never thought
Right?
that'd be possible.
and her AI is it feels intuitive. It gives her back talk, like snarky back talk. Like I'm talking like there's again,
Well, her first AI was Tony, so
right. But I mean, it's talking about just saying things like "word." That's what we're really doing. You wounded me. It's funny. Like
does it make you excited for the show?
Yes,
Cool.
because this is what I'm expecting now. This is
When's
what
the
I'm
show
expecting.
come out? I forgot.
Huey.
When's the show come out?
Huey.
Sorry, I'm looking up.
Get your producer
IMDb
I'm
on,
looking up
baby.
Venom covers here.
In the meantime, if I had a personal AI, I would want Bill Burr to voice it.
Yeah. Can you imagine Iron Man with Bill Burr as Friday?
June
You want me to hit the
24th.
internet for you? June 24th.
Oh, June 24th this year.
Yep.
We do get Last of Us Season 2 next week, though.
Yes, we do.
Ooh.
The 13th, man.
Oh,
That
we
snuck
do.
up on me.
And it has an 88 on Rotten Tomatoes. I know that doesn't mean much to Moshko, but 88 on Rotten Tomatoes sounds cool. I'll take that.
Yeah, I just replayed both games, so I'm excited.
Best video games I've ever played.
I got to get back into it. I couldn't get past this one part.
I've never had an experience like that in a single player game.
Have you
Yeah, I
played
do.
Zelda Breath
Yes.
of the Wild?
No,
Man.
I have,
Ooh.
but I didn't like it that much. It's also I don't own the system to play it.
Yeah.
So not getting into that story, and that was the wolf one, right?
No, that was the
No.
It's the one where you play the
open
flute.
world.
Yeah, you need to switch
Yeah.
for that.
Yep.
I've heard that game's great, but no.
It
I
is,
haven't.
in my opinion,
is
the
great.
greatest game ever made.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
really good. I'm currently playing it right
Better
now.
than Last of Us 1.
Yes.
They're just different games.
One of
Yeah,
my
they are
favorite
different
moments in Rye history is Rye when he used to be a game streamer.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and he was
Raging.
playing that game, and there was a villain or a bad guy who wasn't supposed to be there, and if we can find that clip.
Nah, it wasn't that game.
Why
Was it
was
Elden
that
Ring?
It was not that game.
Was it Elden Ring?
I will never play a FromSoft game ever.
What?
After I play,
Oh.
after I play Bloodborne, I won't. They're too anger-inducing. I can't do it.
I get it. I'm
Can't do it.
a From Software stan. I'm going to get a From Software tattoo. And
More power to you. I just don't like to die to learn.
yeah,
I
no, I
want to die to
completely
learn.
understand. It's not for everybody.
That's a good way to live life.
don't want to die.
Don't die to learn.
No, their
Learn.
games have.
So you
they're-
don't die, but don't die to learn.
No. These games are when you die, it opens things and unlocks things and gives you more power. There's various. It's always die to learn. Like,
So it's realistic.
It's
It doesn't give you
nightmarish.
anything. It drops you in hell and says good luck.
Yeah. No, the game, Menti, the game you were thinking of was not The Last of Us. It was another title by that producer called Uncharted 4.
Oh, yeah.
And
Naughty
it was
Dog?
specific, and I was playing it on the hardest difficulty at that time because brutal difficulty didn't exist at that time. I was playing it on crushing. And crushing.
no.
I'm never playing brutal in my entire life. But I was on the shipyard part, and yeah, there's one of the enemies sneaked up behind me, and I thought I had completed it. I had played this for 4 days straight. Every day I would log in. I had like 4 hours to play before I had to go to my job, and I would log in. I would play live, and on the fourth day, it was the third day because the fourth day I completed it. The third day, I was right there. I was about ready to complete these two things, and this thing came up behind me, and I had to go to work. And I just lost it live on my stream. I lost it. I was like, fine. And, I just
To be honest,
ran off. Yeah.
a lot
Complete
of
rage
bonding
quit.
moments between Mauer, myself, and Features were giving Rye a hard time in his
Oh,
stream.
yes.
Yeah. Dude, the only thing
Rise
I'll
on,
say
give
about
him
this,
shit.
your
Naughty
rage quits
Dog
were
just-
legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog just knows what they're doing. And they
Probably
make
not good
excellent
for my
games.
health, though. Probably not good for my health. I think and I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but I think their games are, when they get to the higher difficulties, are completely unbalanced. Like, not balanced games at all. Like, the only exception is Last of Us on its hardest difficulty, which I just did recently. Grounded. All that Grounded does is take away resources. That's how clever that difficulty is. And then you just have to be better, better at like preserving your resources. And I just did that recently. I completed The Last of Us on
Man,
grounded.
that final fight must be ridiculous.
I don't even remember doing it. I was actually bombed out of my tree, and I completed it. Yo, I'm not even kidding. I woke up the next morning, and I logged in. I was like, oh, I got to complete the end of The Last of Us, and I logged in, and it was like complete. And I'm like, oh, so I came in last night a little bombed out of my tree. And I actually
That's twice now.
completed it. I
Bombed
completed
out of
the
my
end.
true is my
I'm
new
gonna
favorite
use that
saying.
so much.
I was bombed out of my tree.
I completed The Last of Us completely blacked out. One night.
Yo, that's
On grounded.
That's,
On that note, Menti.
that's some bragging rights right there. That's,
One last thing here. If you enjoy really grounded, difficult games that are narrative based, Horizon Zero Dawn's hard difficulties
Absolutely. Yeah,
are
it's a
really good.
phenomenal
I wanna
game.
play the VR
Phenomenal
on that.
game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Horizon's really good.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm gonna listen to Huey. I'm gonna
Yes,
do
please.
that.
If you want to have fun next time, play
Actually,
it all
wait,
on
no.
easy.
Before we do
Play it on-
that, Huey, pull up next week's books.
Ah.
Let's pull up. Let's see what people should be
There
excited
was a
for
few
today.
things on there I saw, but there wasn't a whole lot I was real excited about.
Is it gonna be a week?
There's like
weeks.
3 or 4.
week.
Not a big fan of the weeks.
Ultimates,
I'm waiting
Amazing
for Huey.
Spider-Man number
Everyone's
one.
beating me. I'm waiting for Huey.
Sorry, I'm looking at him already.
Daredevil.
Oh, share the screen, Huey.
I'm
Oh,
sharing
we got
it.
ooh.
There.
All right. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for this
Absolute
one
Batman
right
7?
here.
First off, Absolute Batman 7 is Mr. Freeze, who
Yes.
looks terrifying, and I'm
That's-
Yes.
super stoked for that. Ultimate's bringing Loki in, Transformers. This is a good week. What are we talking
So
about?
Transformers
Well, no, there's
is
like
the
a few, but yeah.
Transformers is the backstory for Megatron.
Oh, awesome.
The next 3 issues, I think, is the backstory. So
Dude, Transformers has been so good. All right, keep
yes, I'm gonna go.
G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, Jinx, number 1.
going. Amazing Spider-Man #1.
Then Storm.
Gotta get that.
I'll pick up Storm.
I'm definitely
For
getting
sure.
Storm.
Amazing
Daredevil
Spider-Man
back,
#1.
back in the
Daredevil
black
no.
armor.
Yeah, I don't care.
I think I'm going to add Storm to my poll list. It's been that
You
good.
should. Storm is very good.
Dark Patterns. I'm excited for that. That's been a great book so far.
Oh, Doctor Strange in Asgard, issue 2.
Jedi Knights. Excited for that.
I've been
issue 2.
meaning to start reading Moon is
that
Following
Alien?
Us.
Is that
Wait.
Alien Paradiso I see down there?
Where?
Hold on.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you pass it?
Okay.
Did you pass
What?
it? Return of the Living Dead, number 3,
Oh.
is out with the Buzz
Ooh. Dude,
exclusive variant cover
oh,
available.
Oh. Yeah. Definitely get that.
Yeah, gotta pick that up.
Yeah, 100%. Doctor Strange. Nope. G.I. Joe, screw that.
Wait, when did they start a Final Fight comic?
Fight!
Oh, that's kind of cool. Creature Commando. Oh, I haven't been reading that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think I've seen my books that I'm getting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Wait,
a few
Huey.
good ones.
It's a good week.
Huey, scroll down a little bit more.
Scroll down.
Yep.
Scrolling.
Keep going.
Scroll
keep going.
down.
Keep
Keep going right there. Hit it.
There it is.
Oh,
There it
click on
is.
that.
Let's
All
get
right,
get
go
Let's
down,
Buzz,
see
go
his
down, go
name.
down.
Where's that?
And the first one
Artist.
there.
get Buzz's cover.
Yep, click on
There
that.
it is.
Nice.
Yep. There we go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Get that ad out of here.
Yeah, stupid ads.
Yeah, that's the cover you're looking for. Support
There you go.
Buzz. Go buy that book.
Yes.
That's one sexy lady.
Get it.
All right. All right. That was that. Okay. I'm now very concerned about Moshko's search history. All right.
That was fat bastard.
All right. Well, if you enjoy the show, you can find us everywhere.
Just everywhere. We'll
Go to
be
your
out.
social media choice. You'll find us there. That
Go to
Comic
YouTube.
Pod,
You can actually
everywhere.
see us.
Yeah, go to YouTube. YouTube.
Those
If
of you
you're
listening,
listening to the
go
show.
to YouTube.
Yeah.
If you're watching us, hit subscribe.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Please.
Absolutely.
Hear
Hit
us
the bell
and
if you
see
want
us.
to. That's pretty cool.
Dude, I love that. Hold on. Do we have to change our whole outro? You know, you gotta. If you like what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Hit the bell to make sure you get your
Call to action,
notifications.
baby.
If you could let us know what your favorite comics last week and what you're looking forward to this week in the comment sections below, that's your call to action. Support us by just typing some stuff out, man. That's all I'm asking. All right. Once again, I'm Menti.
I'm Mashko.
I'm Features.
I'm Lance.
Huey.
And I'm right.
Nailed it.
Oh, good. Rye, I want you to start reading a bunch of books and come on the show more often.
No,
Yes.
you got me interested in the Absolute series. For
Oh,
DC.
you're gonna love 'em.
Yes.
I haven't collected DC Comics. I just have a bunch of trade paperbacks for DC Comics.
Well, you could
I
probably
have
go
literally
still go.
one DC comic. I have a Batman annual from 1989.
Well, Batman,
got
Wonder Woman,
White
and
Knight right
Superman
here.
is going to be
It's pretty
real hard
good.
to get a number one of. But getting a number one of Martian Manhunter, Flash, and Green Lantern, you can probably still get at the shop.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So look for them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, deuces.
Excelsior.
Later.
And that's that.
That's that.